All right, it's working. Okay, so when you're setting up your own tournament, and you're using or you're accepting credit cards, you can pass the credit card fee onto the team. So change a $300 tournament to something like $312. So that's the entry fee that they'd see, which means that you would get $300 for every team entered using a credit card. It'd be the same amount as a check or a cash or money order or however else you take payments. But you can pass that on to the teams. Let's go to the next step. And it's a invitational tournament. And it's going to be for, let's say, 12B. There are a ton of those teams. And we'll have whatever, 20, what did we say, 16 teams. We'll guarantee them 4 games. The cut date. Okay, so these things basically in here are the advertising portion of it. They don't really matter a whole lot. You're just telling people, hey, look, we're taking 16 teams. We're giving you 4 games per team. The reason why that's important is because people are looking for how much they're paying, a location, obviously, but then they're looking for how many games they're getting. So some people are looking for a ton of games. Other people are looking for 1 days. This just an advertising piece here. And then the cut date is basically the last day that you'll take a check or payment. So we'll say that that day is today. That's fine. And then entry fee, we'll say it's $350. And gate fee, we don't charge a gate, let's say, but don't enter 0 here. Just leave it empty. And then click renew divisions. And then we've created a 12B event or division. Let's create the event. So now, if you've been into your tournaments, you've seen all these tabs and they can be confusing, but we're just going to go through them one by one. Maybe we should start here with the public. So once that happens, we've set it to close already. Okay, so you're not going to see the enter key. If we go back in here and change the cut date, I don't know if I can change the cut date. Well, yeah, I can. Let's say it's how we've moved the cut date to Friday, update, look at the public view, and now teams can enter again. So I could enter my team if I wanted to. And then here are the payment options that we have. So this is what your customer, what your people are going to see. They're not going to see this big message. That's just for you. That's reminding you that you haven't paid for the scheduling fee, which comes at the end down here. We'll cover that later, but back here, teams are going to see this. And if they have an eligible team for the tournament, it'll show up automatically. It's going to select the division. We only created 1. If there is a 10A and a 12B and a 12A and a 10B, those things would all show up in there. And now they can actually add requests like, hey, we're driving from Hawaii, whatever. Late start, please. And then here's the options for payment, which we'll get into that in a second, but I've got all these options. So here's my credit card. Here's the state or the Minnesota softball credit card. I don't know which one that one. Oh, this one's, yeah, that's right. You can add a new card and you just enter the number here and whatever. This is all easy stuff to do. If you have Cash App for your association, all they have to do is hover on this and the money will come to your account. If they have PayPal, here's your PayPal account and your Venmo account, and then a check and who to make it out and how much for. And it's important on all of these things other than credit card is that it says if you pay $362, that's that $12 credit card fee. There is no wait, they're in the tournament. But on Cash App, it says reserve spot, I will complete the payment outside the system. So basically these people are promising you that they're going to pay you for the event. Same thing with PayPal and Venmo. Same message. All right, so we're going to enter with a check so I don't get charged. Okay, my spot is reserved. I'm going to go look at teams and there I am. Payments. Here's where you set up which payments you'd like to accept. So all you do is enter your email address for your PayPal account, your Venmo handle, your Cash App handle. who you want to get paid for by check, and an address. If you want to pass the credit card fee to the customer, that checkbox is also here. If you want to eliminate credit card payment options altogether, you click that. God, I hope no one enters this event while we're hanging out. Maybe I should change that. It's getting too nice out. So let's go do that back here. Change the cut date to the 26th. Then it should be dead, right? Public. And it's closed. Okay. So the overview, we'll just go right down the lineup. We've gone through a few of these already, but now you can see that we've had one team enter. Zero money has been collected because it was not made with a credit card. If it's made with a credit card, it would show up as $350. And here's some other controls like showing coaches info, and coaches can enter scores. That's all great stuff. And you have other controls down here. Let's get down to event info. If we're going to edit the division, here's where you do that. Like you say, oh, I guess I want to be BC instead of just 12B. And I want to name it some other division name, which would put something out in here. You can do that. Let's just probably update that. That's fine. This is kind of a helpful little space. This is kind of a free form area where you can enter information about your tournament and just say, hey, 4 fields, running water, and indoor bathrooms. And then you can get contact Dan at josoftball.com or 952-250-3393. And then you can say, you can get really cute with it and click this image thing and pick up an image. And let's go to my Dropbox account and go tournaments, youth. Who needs a tournament in here? Oh, how about Delano? Yeah, of course, there's no image in there. Coon Rapids? No. Forest Lake? No. There we go. How about Laverne? And we can edit that to make it a little bit bigger, so it makes more sense. And now you just slapped your flyer into your tournament area or tournament page. I don't see an update button. Normally there's one down here somewhere, so I'm hoping that's an automatic update. So let's go to public and see if it shows up, and it doesn't. So somewhere in here there's supposed to be well, there's the update button. God bless America. Anyways, you'd want to click that update, the event info button, and all that stuff would have shown up. You get the concept. If you need any help, contact me about it. Okay, so that's event info. Teams. So you saw me enter a team, a fake team that promised to pay offline. And let's say the check, or let's say I paid with a check and it shows up. I click on fully paid. It enters those fees. I click on this and say they paid via check. Why do we do things like that? It's just really good practice to kind of keep track of this stuff. If you're, I don't know if you're accountant or whatever, who's ever doing your taxes, if they need to know that stuff. I know ours are thrilled about it. And then you can add a comment like it was check number 123. That automatically saves in the updated area. Now here's something that's really important for you all is you've probably got teams entering your events right now, and they are sending you a paper registration and a check. And they didn't use this to enter this, so you have to go find them, like Woodbury, maybe in their, let's say their fall team wanted to enter, and this one wanted to enter, and this one, and you click these orange or red plus buttons here, and wham, they all show up. And let's say someone from Baldwin wanted to go. And of course, there's no one in there, but they're BW. Aha. So they're 12B wanted to enter, and I don't really want to mess with anyone's summer teams. How about Chisago? So we'll go grab a Chisago team, and there's another one. How are we doing on teams now? Got 8. So let's just say that'll be the size of our tournament or whatever. So they're all entered. You can enter what type of payment they made. If it's made by credit card, this is going to populate, but these things are these are things that you can select to keep track of it. We covered that here with the check. So that's how I'm noticing I'm getting the biggest phone call I'm getting right now from people is, how do we get teams that aren't in the system? Oh, and the other question they're asking is, we have teams that have paid us. We know what their team name is, but they haven't created the team yet. So how do we block those spots for them? And the easy way that I do it is I go back to info, and let's say those are the 8 teams. I just do this. I drop it down to 8. And I know that I've got 8 more in hand that are going to jump on or jump in the tournament. So I'll just hit update. And now when I go to public, it's going to show up as full, even though you know that these 8 have entered, but you've got 8 more in hand with a paper registration. So now no one's going to be able to jump in your tournament. There's nothing worse than setting up a tournament for 8 teams and all of a sudden you got teams 9 and 10 that entered and you're like, oh crap, I've already got 16 and here come 17 and 18. Good problem to have, but it's kind of a bummer if you don't have the field space. So,
Dan, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Sorry, someone on my association is trying to get in. Are you allowed to can you let him in?
Even if yep. Hold on. It's Liz. We'll let her in right now.
Thank you.
Maybe that's why Raquel is texting me here.
Sorry.
Oh, no. Just jump in anytime. If you have questions too, just jump in anytime. I get so busy talking that I didn't notice the little alert up here in the top was telling me to let people in. All right, those guys are jumping in, so let's keep moving on. And for everyone that just jumped in, this is all being recorded, so I'll probably try to dump this to our YouTube channel. Maybe tonight, we'll see. I'll try to get it done tonight. I think I have to. So we were just covering how you enter teams into tournaments. And the biggest thing is for the people that just jumped on, if there are communities that haven't created their teams, but they're sending you paper registrations, or they're doing registrations through your registration system for the tournament, and you want to get them into the tournament, all you do is add a team. And we'll go Edina, and we'll go grab a Hornets fall and a Sting fall. And there they are. There's also the option to add a wait list. So if they do enter, you can put numbers next to their name and say, sorry, your team's 9 and 10. You didn't get in, but we'll put you down on the wait list. Someone drops out, and we'll cover that too. You can add them in after the fact. All right, payments we covered. Here's where you make those edits. Or how you add your types of payments. Facilities, we're going to add a park here. And that is going to be, let's say, I don't know, what if we have around here? Okay, we'll add Corcoran Community Park to our divisions. This will, when you search on a park, I think I've got most of yours preloaded. If you don't have them loaded, you can do it, or you can ask me to do it. If we had multiple divisions here, you could select one division for this park. So if you're running, let's say you're Edina and you're running 12s at Pamela and 10s at Van Valkenburg, you can add the park to both divisions or just one or the other. It doesn't really matter. We'll cover that in scheduling later. I usually just make it a habit to add all divisions. So here we've got a park. Okay, so let's cover announcements. Well, we'll cover announcements right now. Announcements are something that you want to tell everyone in your tournament that would go to your well, you can't even see my phone. This is my phone. There it is. If they go to your phone, this will pop up. If they go to your website, it'll pop up. Hey, it's raining. We are going to delay the start until 12 p.m. And then background color, let's probably not use red. That looks pretty. Okay, so let's save that. Now you go to public and you can see what you've done. It should pop up. Hey, it's raining. We're going to delay the start of the tournament until 12 p.m. So some people use this to say concessions are open, blah, blah, blah. You can do whatever you want with that. It's pretty simple stuff. Also, something new to this that we added is when it gets to be the week of the tournament, the weather kind of prediction stuff starts showing up. So it looks like we're gonna have a beautiful tournament with a chance of freezing rain and then mostly sunny. And on Sunday, it'll be partly cloudy. So that will pop up. Don't expect it to show up on your tournament until the week of the tournament. So let's go back into here and go back to announcements and remove that. So you can put on there, concessions are open. We're serving pulled pork at blah, blah, blah. We're selling t-shirts. They're $20. Hey, it's Sunday at 3 o'clock. And if you're still around, we're dropping t-shirts to $10. And then they'll all come looking for a refund. Don't do that. Okay, let's move on to kind of the heavy lifting tab here, which is schedule. Excuse me. So the first thing that you see is there's these new rows that pop in, and this is add a division. So let's say you wanted to add a division, you could do that. So you could add an invitational division for 10 BC if you wanted to, and we'll just say, what do we say, 350 and save it. Okay, so we add another division. You can do that for as many as you want after the fact. The biggest thing here is when you're doing your scheduling, this thing is going, there are these conflict checks. Then they're going to check to see if somebody is double booked at the same time, a team, or if there's a conflict between the start times of two dependent games. So that means Edina Green is playing at 9 o'clock. They're supposed to play at 9 o'clock, but they have a game scheduled at 9 o'clock. So they can't get there, or it's scheduled for 10:10. You've got something wired wrong there. So it'll check that for you. It also checked to see if you double booked a field. And then I don't think I've ever run into this one before, when the reference round of the seed has been deleted. This is probably if you're messing around with teams and seeds. If somebody breaks that, let me know, then I can figure out what the heck is going on. So let's just dig into division 12 BC, where we have all those teams, and we need to add a round, and we'll call it pool play, original crap here, right? And we'll create that, and there's pool play. And now this thing's going to run out and grab all of our teams, and we can seed them, and you can see all the information about them, what class they are. We got a bunch of 12 BCs, and we can seed them by name, so it'll be alphabetical. We can seed them randomly and click it 80 times and say stop. Okay, so number one seed would be Edina. We can seed them by class, division, and strength. So let's see. Oh yes, my team is first. So the 12 Bs would pop up first, and then the Cs would come in after that. We can go just by division strength, and that's so class division strength would be, division would be 12U, class would be B, then C. Division strength means everyone in 12U, just all 12Us against 12Us. That'd be something like we'd use for fall state, where you guys are picking A, B, and C, but at the end of the year, we'd probably just go division strength because you have all played against each other. We can seed it on points, and we have a point system. Every weekend, people accrue points. We could seed it based on their pool seed. I don't know if clicking that was a hot idea. It doesn't matter. But that would be if we ran pools and then we decided we wanted to seed the next part of the event, the brackets based on the pool seeds. We'll probably get to that in this test. And then manual. And what manual is look, anytime you're seeding something and you know that 2 and 7 are going to play, and that's Edina and Edina, you might want to just move them away from each other so that they get out of their pack, out of their block or whatever. So you have any flexibility to say, hey, look, I know that Dan's team is the best team in the world, so we're going to put them first, right? They're not. It's Maple Plain, God's country, but they're not good. Okay, so anyways, let's go random. Who cares? And let's go make a pool for a weekend event. And we've got 10 teams, so we'll do 2 pools of 5. Excuse me, 2 pools, and they're going to play. Now let's go 3 pools. Get weird. Give them 2 games. It's a weekend event. This stuff you don't really need to mess with. A lot of this is fall ball stuff. Look under the hood. Same here with do not use snake methods. So we're going to create pools. And here you go. Here are the pools. So we've got Maple Plain, Woodbury, Chisago, and Edina. We've got Woodbury, Chisago, and Chisago. That's a problem. And we've got Woodbury, Edina, and Baldwin, Woodville. So we spread out the Woodburys. We got the Edinas away from each other. We got a problem here with 2 Chisagos. So the cool thing about this is you can click and drag. Hey, there you go. And that's done. So after you do that, you can build, what you should do is build pool games. And now basically this is just giving you a table list of what the games are going to be. Every team's getting 2 games. It shows that. Oh boy, why is it not redrawing? There it is. Okay. So let's apply game numbers. And I think what that's going to do now is dump us down into a spot where we are going to confirm matchups and a schedule. I want to go back to this pool games. Let's say on Thursday, Maple Plain calls and says, "Hey, look, we've got 3 pitchers and they're all out, and they want to try and drop out of the tournament." And you can add another team. Let's go do that. So you now know that Maple Plain dropped out, but you found out that your buddy at Shakopee said, "Hey, I got a team that'll pick up that spot. No problem." Mike Raw, there we go. One of the good guys. And he says, "Yeah, I'll take that spot. You know, make Maple Plain pay for half of it." Okay, we'll do that. So we got the schedule already built, and we got the jerk from Maple Plain dropping out. So Maple Plain is out. And we're going to add in Shakopee. And all you do is substitute, confirm. They pick up the same schedule. There aren't any changes for you. You don't have to redo everything. So let's go down to game schedule. And we have a facility. So let's go to game setup. And let's say we've got 4 fields at our park and we're using 90-minute spreads. So this isn't really truly game length in minutes. This is more like the amount of time you're going to allow between start times. So we start at 8 o'clock, we go at 9:30, we go at 11, we go at 12:30, 2 o'clock, whatever. So let's add days, and we're committed to starting on the 2nd, even with the cruddy weather. We're going to go 8 a.m. to, let's say, 6 p.m. Actually, you know what? We're going to go 10 p.m. because we've got a feature we need to see. And then I don't think I'm going to need to add Sunday yet. I think we can add that later. Now, what this thing is going to do is go and figure out, one of the things it will do is it'll figure out if you have enough fields and times to pull off this schedule. If you would have said, "Look, we're going to run this from 8 until 10 o'clock, it would have said, "You don't have enough fields and you don't have enough times to cover this," and it just won't even get you to this point. So that's kind of useful if you're long on teams and short on fields. You'll kind of know what you can and can't do, or if you're going to have to rent another field close by or another set of fields. So that's kind of useful. Down here, you see things popping up in blue. You can probably figure out that it's night. So you'd better have lights on these fields, or you better not use them. So since we've got such a modest thing here, maybe we don't want to start at 8 a.m. We're like, well, we're going to be out of here by 12:30 on the pool. So let's just kick it out 2 more hours and start at 10 a.m. And then every one of the game time shifts after that. Poor Slob's playing at 10 p.m. We're not going to do that. So let's just delete this time slot. So you can see there's all sorts of flexibility in here to do all of your businesses. Row is deleted, schedule is updated. You can also say, well, we've got all this extra time now, let's increase the durations of the games. So we can click on that and say, okay, we're gonna make them 2 hours now. So now we're going at 10, noon, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Again, whoa, midnight, let's move that. And it doesn't matter, we're just playing around. Now, some of the other cool features are drag and drop games. I can move, I want to move A1 to A4 because I promised the people on, well, let's see. Yeah, I promised Chisago they play on the show field at 8 a.m. And when I do that, it automatically flops these back and forth. The other thing that you're seeing going on, if you're not tweaking out, is when you hover on something, it says the game, but it also has a color. Light blue means that that's the game, and the yellow and the green are the games that are feeding into that. So those games have, if it were like a double limb bracket or a single limb bracket, you'd need to have those two games occur before this one, because this is pool play, it doesn't matter. Same thing, cool thing here about these three team pools or whatever, they get, they're linear, so they try to stay on the same field. The software is smart enough to say, hey, try to isolate people on fields so that they're not playing, not doing this bit and marching around all over the place. Now I've got, I'm sitting here, I'm going from 2 or field 1 to 4 to 3, you can name the fields here too, by the way. It's probably a good thing. Oh, and when you click on, you've changed it to a field, it goes from black lettering to green lettering, green for go. So this is set now. These games are good to go. And we'll add field 4. But the software is built such that it is trying to set up a schedule that makes the most sense for the teams and not have them chasing all over the park. So now we've got that all back in line. We can now go, okay, so then here's team name mode. So if you want to see the names of the teams. So if Edina said, hey, look, field 1 is where the concession stand is, and the parents are going to be doing concessions, and they won't do concessions if they aren't in or be able to see their games. I would do my best to slide as many Edina games over to here. That happens all, I'm not picking on Edina, I just see Mike's name there. But like Chanhassen always wants field 5. You know where that hill is at Chanhassen at Lake Ann, and there's a concession stand overlooking field 5. They always tell us, hey, put us on field 5 or count us out. Oh, field 5 it is. So that's just an example of what happens there. Okay, so you've got this done, and it's basically ready to publish. So you can turn on the public view, and we're going to release it, I'm sure. And guess what? You go to the public view and you still can't see it. Well, it's because we've got to pay the schedule fee. So I've scheduled 10 teams, and there's a fee. And once that fee is paid, then this turns green and the public sees it. Okay, so schedule, we're there. Let's say now we're in the tournament. Everyone can see it. We've got the thing scheduled, and now we want to enter scores. So when you're out at the park and you're on your phone, you might not have a laptop. If you have a laptop, this is really slick to do, because all you do is start keying numbers in, and it just starts doing its magic. But if you are out at the park and you're on your phone, you can click on, you'll see a button with a game number, and you can just do this with your finger. Or you can turn on coaches enter the scores, and you don't do anything. The problem with leaving it to the coaches to enter the scores is when you get to Saturday night, which we're about to do, when you've got to advance the teams to the pools, you probably want to have all this stuff taken care of. Oh, that's me. Let's not do that. So I'll try to get done with these as quick as I can. Okay, I might click that because I did. It'll spit out some pool standings here, which is great. You can see what happened, but more importantly, we're going to go and do something else, which we should have done earlier. And we're going to create a new round called Gold. Oh, there's a chat room question. Schedule fee is paid. Thank you. So is it public then, Tunjai? We've got, oh, here we go. Someone's getting. Yeah, it is. Okay, so now you can see what happened. This is what they'd see when it's turned on or whatever. They would have seen blank pools. But, okay, so let's go back to schedule. And excuse me, 12B. We created a gold. We're going to create a silver.
If you want to send Oliver up, you can.
I muted her. Okay, we'll create silver. So in gold, we're going to create. We have 12 teams. We'd want to have the top 6 seeds. So we don't want to pick from team, or we want not from teams. We're not going to seed based on their team name. We're now going to seed based on what they did in that pool. So we're going to take pool A first, pool B first, pool C first, pool A second, and this is for gold. And then we are going to create and here's where we add brackets. It could be a 2-game guarantee. It could be a TV bracket, and TV bracket, I think, is where they dump. It's like a double elimination bracket, except for they get rid of the if game. We got a 1-game guarantee. So that would get each team 3 games. We probably don't want to do that. This is like a ladder format. We don't want to do that. This is a 3-game guarantee. So there's double elim with a 3rd game. We don't want to do that. We don't want to do double elim. And then there's single elim. We don't want to do that. We're going to actually pick the 2-game guarantee bracket. And it'll show it to us. So, Tunjai, are we sure that this is right? You might want to look at this, because shouldn't there be, oh, there they are. God bless America. They popped up. Okay, so you play a game in here. The second you lose, you go down to the consolation bracket. That way everyone's getting 2 games. So we like that. Let's go to bracket. That should be fine. Oh, game schedule. Sorry. Bracket. Oh, I need to confirm. Excuse me. There's always these little things that say, it looks nice. Do you agree with it? And it says confirm, whatever. So we'll do that. We're still at the same park. We're going to submit, not search. Get out of there. We're going to go to game setup. We're going to use 4 fields. They're going to be 90 minutes, and we're going to play on Sunday now. And we're going to say, because we got plenty of time, we're going to go 10 a.m. And we're going to create the schedule. And we're going to use field 1, field 2. And we probably should have said we are not going to use, we should have said we're using 2 fields, because we're going to put silver over on these 2 fields, right? So looks like this is loser of 2 and 3. We'll just slide them over there. I don't know if that's such a hot idea, but we'll try it. This would be field 3. This would be field 4. This will become critical later to take a look at the silver and gold brackets, and you'll see some games. You'll see these games get blocked out on other brackets. So we're good to go with that. That whole setup is set. The location of the fields are here. If you didn't know this, if you see this little field name, it's Corcoran Country, whatever, Corcoran City Park. You click on that and it goes to Google Maps and takes you to Corcoran Community Park, takes you to the location so people can get directions to their games. If you click on the game number, I forgot about this, you can enter the score of the game. So we don't have teams yet. Let's not do that. And we've got a bracket that looks good, but let's go do the silver bracket quick. And we are going to grab pool in place. We're going 3rd and 4th, and we're going 3rd, and we're going 3rd, and we're going 2-game guarantee. And we're good there. Let's go to confirm. And good on that. And we're going to use 2 fields this time, but let's add 4 just so that we can see those fields. And we're starting at 10, right? And we're on Sunday. And let's create the schedule. And then we wait. It's thinking, okay, so this is what it spit out. So now if I went and added field 1, what's going to happen? It's going to tell you it's in use. Well, we left 3 and 4 open, right? So I should get gray again. So let's go. No, we're not doing that. We're going to 3 and Lions. And we've got the option to, again, drag and drop if you want to do that. Say you really got a bunch of hot dogs to sell, you might do this and keep them there all day. Don't do that. Again, here's team name mode. It just tells you the seeds. And again, it's saying, look, for this game to occur, you have to have played these 2 games first. Same thing here. So we're cool with that. Let's go to the $1 million question, which is why this is awesome.
Dan, quick question. It won't let you put a game that has to occur after others. It won't let you do that, will it?
It will, but you'll get a warning.
You'll get a warning and it'll just tell you, okay. Sounds good. Thanks.
Yep. Okay, so let's go to the pools. Remember, we entered all of those scores. So now here's where a big piece of the magic happens, which is pool standings. So you get done with the last game, you quick pop the scores in, and what are the parents doing to you? You're sitting there with a calculator and you're like, Forest Lake had 2 scored and 5 and 7. That's what, 14. Get the calculator. And then we have runs against and all that stuff. Stop. Let's just go lock results and move teams. And then let's go, or excuse me, calculate. We could always go calculate pool standings for all pools. And then we go lock results and move teams. 2 clicks. And now you go to the gold bracket. And wham, everyone's there. Oh, we need to turn it on. So red is off, green is on. Or black is off. So we're going to turn whatever. Green is on. Okay. It's not that late. Okay. So if we go to public, now we should see the whole event. So you've got your pools and your tiebreakers, and now you've got your gold and your silver brackets. What I like to do after I get that done, what I like to do is go and change the order of things. So after pool plays over, no one really cares, right? They're not looking on Saturday night to see, well, they're looking to see the results of the pool games, but they're more importantly, they're probably interested in, when they're checking it all day, they want to have to scroll down through the pools. They're going to want to see this stuff first. So we'll jack the order of these around. Pool play will go to 3. And then we will go hit public view again. And now when they show up on their phones, oh, cool. And if they really want to see what happened brackets are at the top. If they want to see what happened in the pools, they can just scroll down and take a look at it. And again, all this stuff is hyperlinked too. If somebody said, hey, I need to know about Chisago Lake. We play Chisago Lake Sanders. They sound really good. Okay, so you can find out all about them. And of course, I pick a team that's 0-10. Brilliant. And then you find out who's on the roster. Of course, then you start making protests. Don't do that. But there's that view. Okay, so we've created the schedule. We've done all this stuff. Maybe before we did all that, we had some people on staff that were going to help us out. So You have, let's see, dan@josoftball.com. And I'm giving this guy full access to everything, right? Now you can't create an event because that's reserved for TDs. And plus he's already inside the event, so he doesn't need that. But maybe I'll just give him partial access. And I've got this guy, Dan, that will just enter scores for me on his phone because he's always on his phone on Twitter. So he's going to enter scores for me, and that's cool. But you could say someone can take care of the tournament finance. So if you're the president of your association and you're like, hey, look, I want my treasurer to know what's going on with this. They're collecting the checks. Instead of telling me about it, why don't I just give that person the event finance? They can take care of that. And team management, they probably want, but I got schedules and I've got final standings. And oh yeah, we're gonna have an official assigner. We want that guy, or we want this guy. He's gonna assign our umpire, so we'll have him take care of this. We'll show you that next. Lodging, that's new. And of course, I've forgotten, or I don't know what that's about, but let's pretend it's really important. Okay. Anyways, I've created, oh, someone texted me. They're going to tell. Yeah, okay, I don't want to get into that. Okay. So let's say I have an umpire assigner and they just want to know when the games are. You could open this up and you could say save to Excel, and it's creating an umpire report right now. If I click on that, let me drag it over here. This is what your umpire assigner will get. And it's basically the date and the time of all the games. And then we should enter that. We should have fields across the top here. They're pretty easy to figure out for this, but we'll fix that later. But if your umpire assigner gets that, they're pretty happy, because as long as you don't change the schedule, this emanates from the schedule. So if you change the schedule at all back in the system, this thing is going to update automatically. Also, if an umpire assigner could say, hey, I'm going to go add some umpires. And they can go in here. Did I not do that right? Okay, so here's a couple of umpires, and we're going to add them into this. And now the assigner can go and grab Tom and say, okay, Tom, you've got this field for 2 games and then you're out of there for the day. And Jeff, you get 3 in a row. I would think that those umpires would probably get notification, but if they don't, whatever. Again, same thing applies here. You could export all this to Excel. But if you're giving your umpire assigner this, I think they're pretty pleased with you. They probably right now are just asking you for your pools and your Sunday schedule. But this is even better, because in most cases, what they're doing is like getting out grid paper or a legal. Oh, that's weird. Okay, that was a notebook, and they're probably writing fields, or times and fields, and drawing boxes and entering names, whoever's taking games. This is the same thing. It replaces that. Okay, so that's a super new and cool feature. We talked about staff. Check-in. Let's say you required everyone to be in compliance, and the city of Corcoran said, look, we're not going to have people out there without background checks, adults without background checks, and ACE and whatever concussion stuff. So here's where all that stuff could be checked. You've also got information about who's paid and who isn't. That would be helpful. You'd want to be sure when they check in, you're going to want to get that payment. If you have a gate, probably a good thing to check off here. You can say something about that in there. But this is basically what this is doing is creating a sheet for you to print out and bring to the park in case you don't have a computer. So that's kind of useful. If you're running a national tournament, they would be all over this. They'd be like, yeah, you got a few problems here. You got to clear all this stuff up. And then let's go to big picture. Big picture is kind of an Excel-like look at this. And hey, I just saw a game on field 3 get completed, and that looks about right. You click on it again, you get back to the scoring mechanism. Same thing here. Oh, well, you can't enter. Oh, look at that. It won't allow me to enter a score because it's a pending game. It needs these other games to be finished. We dealt with schedule fee. We need to go back to the schedule. Excuse me. And we need to finish off the tournament before we can do anything else. So let's go to results and scores. Let's say this is for 43. Okay, so now this is not going to update until we hit reload games and scores. Whoa, what happened there? Tunjai, are you there?
Yep. If you use the bracket for bracket scoring, that's usually better.
Okay. Oh, and it's really responsive. Oh, let's see what happens there. 8-8. That's not going to fly. It did advance someone, but should. Obviously, the pitching fell apart on Sunday. Woodbury versus Woodbury. And then let's go do silver quickly. Okay, so this is final now. So we can go into final standings, and we're trying to determine the order of finish based on how they played. In probably the gold teams would be the highest priority, and then the silver teams would take second priority. And let's save and calculate that. And remember, I'm the dummy who backed out of the tournament, and Mike Raw picked up my spot for $75. So here's that. And it's gone through and it said that first place is Woodbury Blue, second was Chisago, third is a massive tie, and I'm not sure why that is. And I don't really care. I'm not going to look into it. That's fine. So this is cool. You know, here's all the data about the tournament and what they did. But more, maybe even a kind of a cooler feature is, sweet. So we're giving away berths, and there is Woodbury Blue and these guys. And let's say the silver, do we have 4 in the silver? Hey, look, these guys are already qualified, so I don't have to bother adding another berth to them. We'll let that drop down because someone else will appreciate it. And then that's it. You release the final standings. You go to the public view. And it says, hey, check it out. Green teams all got new berths. Chisago was carrying it from before. That the final standings always appear at the top. And then we work down through the brackets. And then we'll get down to the pool play. And your tournament is done. And I covered it all in 50 minutes. But you probably have a ton of questions. Think about this for a second. See, berths, we did. Oh, if you go to their team page now, they get this badge that says, okay, now they're nationally qualified. If you went to another event before it started, so we just finished Corcoran, and now we're going to, God, who's first? School's out, or whatever's in Belle Plaine, that one that's really early in the year. When those teams start entering the next tournament, they see, hey, 4 of the teams are already qualified. We might want to get into that tournament because we've got a higher probability of getting a berth because 4 of the 12 already have berths. Just more marketing stuff, I guess, that people might want to use, or coaches might get creative on what tournaments that they enter based on who's already qualified. If it's that important, based on who's going to nationals or how many teams attend, it seems like it sure is. So
Dan, while you're on the berths, I got a question.
Fire away.
At the end of these tournaments, we're still going to have to report what berths were awarded to which teams, correct?
Just give them, I mean, are you handing a, like a
I'm just,
USA to someone and a Mazda to someone else?
Not usually, but I was just going to suggest, if that were the case and a coach said, well, we're not going to go to Monster, but we're going to go to USA, on that page where you checked off that they were a national qualifier, instead of it just saying state or national, could it say USA or Monster, or be able to check both of them, or wouldn't it matter?
Typically we just tell people, give them a berth. They can pick where they want to go.
That's fine.
I kind of am curious to see it. It's a great question. And if I can, and the programmers are sitting here listening to this, writing notes, I'm sure right now, but if they can set this so that you can choose between a state berth, so we use that at a qualifier, right? Everyone that gets one win without a forfeit win gets in. That could be set to state. But there's no reason that this national berth can't say Monster or USA. I mean, we could do that if there were,
Sure.
I don't see why not. They kind of threw that out last fall and I didn't give it much thought. So, but that's
in this case, Dan, you let that team pick whichever one they want to go to, right?
I don't, but you do apparently. Yeah, you wouldn't give them what they want, right? Your crowd pleasers at tournaments. You don't want to say no, and you certainly aren't going to say, no, I'm sorry, you have to go to Wichita, Kansas. You just don't do that. So yeah.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. Maybe that's why you decided to just leave it.
The bigger thing is, I think that once we get through a year of this, I think you're going to find out that most of the teams probably are qualified. Maybe not C's. I don't know about that. I think they kind of, Mendota Heights is doing something cool this year. They're running a C only tournament, which I think is really neat. 10C and 12C are always the most intense qualifiers in states, because all year they've spent getting beat up by A and B teams at every tournament around the state, right? So then they finally get to play each other at the state qualifier and state, and there's all sorts of arguing. It's awful. So, yeah, I'm guessing the C's won't all be qualified, but we'll see how far it goes down. As the year goes on, these things are going to start filling up, and it's going to be like, good Lord, everyone's qualified. So anyways, so that's that. I took your note, Josh. That's a great idea. Anyone have any other questions? It could be anything.
Yeah, the schedule fee, does that happen by credit card? Or let's say I set up our team as a club and I put our credit card, will that automatically flow?
Yeah.
Okay.
So do you have?
Yeah, we should, there it is.
Yeah, so your credit card would flow with you.
Okay. Sounds good.
Maybe to piggyback off of Mike's question there, how do we set up as an association to receive credit card payments?
Great question. You email me and say, we'd like to accept credit card payments. And then what happens is we'll give you a link to Stripe, and you need to follow that. And then you need to tell us afterwards with the email account that you used to set up the Stripe account. And then we link your Stripe account to this account on tournaments.mnsoftball.com. And then the magic happens. We uncheck these, and or uncheck this, and then you're accepting payments. And if you ran the cool thing about Stripe is, so I think it's like, and the guys can correct me if I'm wrong, it's like 2.9% and $1 per transaction or something like that. But if you do enough business with Stripe, and I'm not suggesting that you guys are going to get there, I don't know if I'll ever get there, but their rates drop. As you perform more, your rates drop. So we could go to Stripe and you can see my payments that are coming in. You can see this too in your own Tunjai, did you want to say something?
Just a quick note, since people will sign up for their own Stripe account, you won't be using our account. So if you reach to a certain volume, you can negotiate the Stripe fees or rates. So we are not taking advantage of our clients, let's say. We could have done it, like we could have pulled all you guys and reach to a higher volume and then negotiate Stripe on behalf of ourselves and make money off of your payments. That's not what we are doing. If you have enough volume to negotiate with Stripe, you will be able to.
So that's Tunjai, and he's kind of one of the lead programmers on this whole, the software is called Register Play. And he's brilliant. It may not always come through in a Zoom thing or whatever, but the guy knows his stuff. So here's my Zoom account. You can see all the payments that have come through. A lot of this stuff is today. So business is picking up, and it's a bunch of umpire registrations. I'm not so much worried about that, but then you can see here where there were some refunds where, oh, we had an Iowa 12C team enter our state tournament. And I said, and they registered with USA Softball through us. And I said, yeah, I don't think that's going to fly this year. I mean, it's interesting. And I invited them to Monst, and they're like, we got a tournament that weekend. They were just looking for this weekend. So, and then here, Annandale registered and paid. And it's like, you get your registration through Crow River League. You don't need to pay that. So we refunded that. I hate to talk about that. Let's move on. Anyways, there's other stuff. Someone paid for a tournament and backed out or something, whatever. Oh, Waite Park had a team paid to play in the Waite Park tournament. And the payment came to me because I was having problems getting that all linked up. So Todd, the director at Waite Park, said, hey, can you refund my team for entering our tournament? Someone made an honest mistake there. So yeah, you can see all your payments here. Another place you can see all your payments at, well, I can, at least. I can see your payments. So if you were wondering what's going on with payments, you could say, and this is, you guys see something completely different. This is kind of getting into what I see to manage this, but here are all the payments that are going through the system right now. And these yellow ones, these are payments that are coming in. And this yellow one through credit cards only. This yellow one is for Big Lake Hornets. They just entered the Delano Dazzler at, it looks like 6:56. So an hour some change ago. I can see their payments, or I can't see their payments. I can see that they accepted a payment from someone for their tournament. So if there was ever a question where you said, hey, I think I got a credit card transaction today, I'm not sure, could you check on it? I can do that. I can't see into your Stripe account. None of us can. That's yours. This
Dan, I know-
website, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, finish that. Sorry. Hey.
Yeah, this website is like credit cards. You saw when I tried to make a credit card payment, there were 4 numbers. All it's doing is our site is reaching out to Stripe and grabbing enough information for us to understand that there's your credit card. Which one do you want to choose? So I can take out my credit card and say, yeah, it's this one, and it ends in 7662 or whatever. So, and then I pick the method of payment, but I can't, me as the operator of the state, I can't see your credit card information. That never happens. That makes sense. Fire away, Mike.
I noticed if you scroll up on the left column,
Oh,
when you had, where is it? I think it's in clubs, where you basically can identify if somebody's paid or not, whether they do it by credit card or they do it check, offline, that kind of thing. I've noticed. So if you picked my team or our club.
here's a quick way to do that if you ever need to.
Oh, cool.
Same thing with your team list. We should show that quick too. Okay, so
If you hit schedule.
Okay.
And now if you scroll down, where was it? Maybe it's on the next page. I'm not sure. I was able to switch.
Oh,
See here where I switched all of our teams to show that they're paid. I think
Ouch.
that might be something people want to do. Because that was all off. We didn't charge ourselves, obviously. But
Right.
now if you go on the team page where they have their reference to the tournaments they're registered, it shows them as paid. Right there. Which
That's
I thought was kind of a cool.
that's cool. And I didn't even know about that. And I'm on here all day, every day. There was another thing that I thought that was pretty cool was schedule. So let's say you cut loose all of your coaches to enter tournaments, but not pay for them. You said, I'm going to pay by check. You could whip around as the Edina director and say, well, Hannah, I'm going to pay for your fall state. Click here, pay. You're going to pay by check. That's so fall states. So you'll notice that the state office generally, I'll explain why we do what we do. The state office only accepts checks because we probably would have about $50,000 a year in credit card, whatever. And instead of kicking that fee out to you, we're not doing that. We never get bounced checks for fast pitch because you collect enough money from player registrations to cover your bills. You guys are awesome. If it's the slow pitch slobs, man, Venmo, anything you can get money to me right away. And I'm running that card right away and I don't care. I'll eat fees. But if you wanted to, and everyone got online with this, and let's say, is there one that would take Orioles opener? No, I don't know if they.
Mission Blastoff, I think, had a credit card option.
Yes, because he has a Stripe account. So then you could run the Edina card for all the teams if they're accepting that. That way you take checks out of play and for the coaches, and I don't know how you guys run your finances, but you seriously could take all of that out of the coach's hands, which might not be a bad idea.
Well, that's one thing I was going to ask you too. On this list, I was trying to print out a summary of everything because I'm trying to get a check issued to you for season registration and then all of our tournaments covered separately. It'd be great if we could export a spreadsheet from here. I just cut and pasted a lot of the information, but have who to remit to, all that good stuff. Maybe there's a way to do it.
If you wanted this stuff out of here somehow,
yeah,
I think the valuable one is, and now you guys, this is club. This is a different feature than tournaments. We'll get back to tournaments in a second.
Sorry to take us over here.
It's all right. I think one of the most useful things is taking a look at the players, and they're grouped by teams, but you look at your player list. This is everyone that's played for Edina. And here's someone that your daughters have had their birth certificates verified. So you get the Green Star Award.
Thanks.
And then they're verified. And then the other thing is kind of cool is you have no one that's done this yet, but you can see the coaches and their compliance status. So if you had like a compliance manager, if you made it a position on your board, or if the director was in charge of it, they could see the status of their teams and if they're getting in compliance. This isn't a good one.
Yeah, no, I've hit everybody up once and I got to start emailing them more.
Let's go to Bloomington's kind of on it. We'll show that quick. So they've started here. Megan's done all of her stuff. So let's go back to tournaments. Well, that's all good stuff.
Thanks for covering that.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so any questions on tournaments or anything else, I guess, for that matter?
Yeah, Dan, I have a question. I don't think this has changed. This is a Stripe system, but you cannot open a Stripe account unless you have a physical address for your association.
Correct. And
Correct.
can chime in on that. I don't think that and I don't know what their policy is but I think they want brick and mortar. They don't want PO boxes.
That's correct. We have a PO that we can go to, but that doesn't work for setting up Stripes accounts. So I just wanted to point that out in case anybody runs into it. But I also have a question in regards to contacting the coaches that have signed up for a tournament. I've tried looking in a couple places. I think it's available on the event page when you get to teams. But some people register like we do. We register our teams at like the association level. So there's no specific coach assigned. It'll just say Chisago Lakes.
Okay. Let's look and see if we can.
So if I'm, I want to reach out to all of my coaches and give them some information. How do I ping all those guys if I don't have their email addresses, or where do I get them?
I've got a way to do it, but I'd have to do it. But we should set one up so that you can communicate with them. You certainly could get through announcements, but then they'd have to be on their phone or a desktop or a whatever. Oh, we got someone chiming in here. Kelly is.
That's something in our to-do list. We haven't found a chance yet, but we can move it on the priority list. So you can do that too.
So here's what it will. Here, you want me to cover what it would look like, Tunjai, through communication?
Yeah, they will use this same tool, so you can explain this to them.
Yeah. In the interim, Kevin, you could say to me, hey, contact everyone in an event. And we're going to go for Chisago. We're going to need a filter on this, Tunjai.
Yep.
If you caught that one. Let's say it was, I think we're going backwards.
This is one of the first tools we created.
Yeah.
So at the time we had like 20, 30 events.
It was easy. Yeah, it was easy the first year when there was only like 8 things going on. But let's say it was this, and here's MYAS Gopher State Tournament Champions. And you want to tell everyone, oh, here's what you want to do, Kevin. After Saturday's games, you want to tell everyone, coaches, parents, or umpires, or event staff, or everyone. And I usually click everyone, but Sunday schedule. And we'll use this dummy email because I don't want people emailing me all night. Hey, we got screwed on the seating, whatever. Here's a blank template. We'll select that. And down here, you'll be able to, and I don't know, is it not popping up? Tunjai, any ideas on that? I just did this the other day because I had to send something out for what's their names? Dick's Sporting Goods.
See, I'd like to reach out to everybody this week, let's say. So my tournament isn't for a month yet. But I want to get in touch with I want to get in touch with the coaches, or not necessarily the director who signed them up. I need to speak individually with the coaches and request some information. And if you can send a photo because we make a program and hand it out, those kind of things.
Yeah, so I could do that for you until we get it set up so that you can do it. But you can send me the email or whatever it is that you want. I'll copy and paste it into this template, which isn't working right now. And then I'll send a test to me, and then I'll forward that to you. And then you can say, yeah, send it out. A lot of times what we use this for is we've got done with the pool play on Saturday, and everyone's waiting around to know, who am I in gold, am I in silver, who do I play, what time? Man, run that 2-click thing where we finalize the standings and advance teams the brackets. Then quick go over here, type up your email, hey, brackets for Sunday are live. They'll know by 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock instead of 10 o'clock. They'll love you for it.
Right, I get it. Yeah, well, that works good. But so go to your dummy tournament once. Can you pull that up quick, or is it gone?
No, it's still there. In fact, we're a weekend event. Oh, when we get to your weekend, this will start populating weekend events. Otherwise, it's just you can follow tournaments. I've got some followed, and anything that you've hit recently shows up in your memory. So here's that. Did you want to
go to teams? Now there's an email address in here.
Yep.
That I can grab, but this isn't necessarily the coaches, but I can grab these and use them. But it's for Nick, for Woodbury down below, that's just going to go to him, but I want to get in touch with the coaches. So I think you know what I'm asking for, right?
Yeah, no, this is last year's data. This was Nick.
Well, I get it, but some of these teams are registering. It's not the coach who's registering the team. it'll be the tournament director or whoever runs the tournaments for that association. They'll just put their email address in there, but like, I think you know what I'm getting at. I'm just looking to contact the coach so I can get some specific information from them. Because there is a place where you can look at the teams. You go to a specific team in the upper right-hand corner, there's a name there, but it's not linked to anything. So if you could click that, and if that's the coach, you could grab the email address. Does that make sense? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so this is kind of a temporal solution or question, because what's going on is Woodbury created 12 or 14 teams, or however many they have, and Nick or the new director own all of them until they
Right.
assign a coach. Here you can see a club that's gone through, and it's STMA, that's gone through and assigned staff for everyone. So these names, instead of it saying Wade Anderson, it's Alex. And if Alex were in your tournament, she'd show up back in that list that we were talking about. It's just right now, a lot of the directors are working on who's going to coach what, and then they haven't gone in here and reassigned things. So,
You know, I had a hard time.
you won't see duplicates unless the association left it that way. That's on them. But
I had a
they'll need to assign coaches, because those coaches have to enter scores and fields.
Dan, hey, Kelly here. For now, you could show them the check-in report. If you go to the check-in report, yeah, that'll have email addresses. This is what I use when I ran my tournaments before we've had a chance to build the tool that we've been talking about.
And it just so happens that Nick owns 3 teams because he never gave up ownership of these. Now that we have the club feature and they're in on it, his summer teams would say the coaches here, and they're the new emails. So,
Okay, so I might be able to go out to the club.
you won't be able to see any of their information.
Okay.
But-
When I was in the club feature, Dan, though, I was trying to take my name off of it when I knew the coaches. I couldn't figure out how to take mine off. It kept me.
I'm having the same problem. I assigned a coach to one of our teams, but my contact info still shows up for all their events.
Go down to one of our spring teams here. Yeah, so this is where I've signed a head coach. Now she's still pending, but yeah.
Oh, Emily, I know her, the old Lakeville South coach. Or
Yeah,
she-
yeah. Or Woodbury, I think. I forget. She's the Dinah JV coach now.
So this is really new stuff here, the staff stuff, and we'd want you probably, when you're not assigned, to just come out of this table. That's probably what'll happen, because basically you're on staff and you're in ownership of everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I was just trying to
But when
kill
you-
myself from all of them, but I
Right.
couldn't.
When you assign a head coach, though, those people will show up in the table that Kevin's asking about. It'll
Okay.
transfer from the head coach down, or from the owner of the club or the teams. So you don't have to use club. You could go and create, Maple Plain could go and create 10 teams. I could create 10 Maple Plain teams. And then I could say to myself, now I'm going to make the dummy at the state office go assign teams. Well, the clubs or the communities, like you guys said, couldn't I just do that on my own? And that's where this idea spawned from. And since it's so new, we're kind of working through some of the glitches. So the guys are listening to this, Atunjai and Kelly, you heard earlier.
Okay.
They're taking notes. They're going to try and figure out a way to wipe that situation out. But the important thing is, back to what Kevin was saying, is once Edina goes and assigns coaches for those teams, Mike Ganley isn't going to appear here anymore. It's going to be Emily Moreland. It's just fall. This is old data, and fall. A lot of times the club administrator, the community administrator is like, look, I'm just going to own all the teams and get this crap done with, because they just want to get it done. They don't want to leave it up to coaches. So,
Well, that's what we're doing too. And then we got to go back in and assign a coach to it after the fact. So we can set them up, but then we got to go back in and assign a coach.
Yeah.
So
That's what we did. I like the club feature a lot because of that.
yeah, I don't want to do it. Thanks.
Right, no, that's, I know all the
Well,
information.
that's, I mean, you need this somewhere so you can, teams can contact the other coach for rain delays or whatever it might be through the season too. That contact information needs to be somewhere.
Yeah, it's all in there next to the games.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll send you an email, Dan, so I can.
Let me see. I
Reach
might
out
be
to
able to
these
get
guys.
that for you right here on how you do that. Show coach info. Schedule. This is a long shot. Ooh, we have a bracket conflict. We double booked something. We could go fix that. We're not going to. Let's see if I went to schedule and I went 12 BC and I went to, no, I'd go public. This is, I don't know if it would show up on here how you could contact another coach. I know that in league play we can. I'll think about, if I think about that solution, I'll get it back to you.
I know the problem. You haven't picked the show coach information up.
That one?
Yeah.
It's on, it's on.
Okay.
But I don't know that we added that outside of league.
Yes, it's leagues only.
Right. I don't know at tournaments if coaches communicate with each other. That's probably more tournament directors because you've got someone on site handling that stuff.
Yeah, I just like to talk to these guys before they show up. I send out some rules and some other information and, weather problems, if there's, a storm warning or something, this is where we go, those kind of things. So.
Yeah, and I'd like to see your pre-tournament flyer thing. I think that's really neat. Or your pre-tournament guidebook or whatever it is.
Well, I reach out to all the teams that are coming. I ask them if they can. We're early season tournament, so I ask them to send me a photograph of the team and then their roster with player numbers, coaches' names. So we put together a program or a flyer. Then we just hand them out to the teams, or they can grab one if they want. And it's just,
I'm gonna grab one that I thought was really cool. And I think it was something produced by the high school league. And unfortunately, my stupid background. Can I turn that off? Okay. So I think the state puts this out, the high school league puts this out, but here's, St. Anthony Village and their season schedule and their roster and kind of their athletic director coach information. I think it'd be really cool someday, and I will put it on the wish list, is that if we're collecting all this information already, right? If each team uploaded a team picture, the site could spit out a picture, a one pager for every team. And one of the reasons why that is important, and we're not really into, you get to the point at the end of their careers where they're like, college coaches will roll in and say, hey, do you have the packet to know who is in the tournament? And they love seeing these things and then where they're committed to or whatever. I don't know. The other thing is, I'm a nerd and I always just grab these things and throw them on a pile in my office and read through them. Here's one I got today. I don't know if you guys get this or not, but it's a breakdown. So look how thick this thing is. It's about every girls' high school fast pitch team in the state this year. It's awesome.
Did that come in the mail today?
Just got it right now.
Huh, I'm looking for mine. It ain't here yet.
It's got to be another 1/4 inch thicker this year.
All right, good.
Yeah, it's really
That's
neat.
a great book.
Yeah.
Hey, I got another question for you. So like early tournament programs like ours, or I think the second weekend, we typically ask information on our old registrations kind of to rank themselves. Is there anything here that will intuitively pull some of the information players or things or help us do that ranking at all?
Yeah, I would like that too. That's a great point. Because that's how I set up my pools. So my pools are balanced.
that's where I get to as well. Trying to get the couple low, couple high, so we don't get an awkward bracket play the next day.
That's where I think this is going to become pretty useful for you, and that's understanding what class they are. And I know you guys are first, you're not going to get the
Some of
advantage
that.
of having this information. And maybe someone is honest about it and says, like last year, Orno 12B Blue said, or was it 10B Blue? They said, we got 2 really good pitchers, and they entered YZA, and they're like, we have no problem with playing against A teams. That's great. That's the exception. Trust me when I say this, when we used to rate teams 1 to 10 for fall ball, there were more 1s and 2s than there were everything else. Because winning in fall is super important, of course.
If that's something you can, if that's something you can add, it'd be something I'd like to see at the point of registration, where the team can go in and select, I'm a B team. I rank myself as, a B2, which is a high B team. Or an A, I'm an A team, but I'm an A6 team. So that way I can balance my pools. That's why,
Yeah.
because I'm actually going to reach out to the coaches. That's why I want this information. The other thing, say, how would you rank yourself? Honestly, we all know it's an honor system to rank yourself correctly, but it gives me something to go on. So my pools are balanced on Saturday. So that when we go to brackets on Sunday, we're not lopsided there either.
Yeah. We'll see if we can put something together. Yeah, everyone writes down on their flyer, rank yourself 1 to 10, or do you have 2 good pitchers, or this is 12AB and this is 12BC, and are some B teams looking for trouble, or are they looking to just looking to drop the high jump bar down to 2 feet and jump over it? So
Yeah. Well,
I know I get what you're after there.
Sounds good.
You don't have the advantage of being in at state, and these records are now 33-8 and 20-10 instead of being that. You're going to have a bunch of 0 and 0s and a bunch of 50s here, so you're kind of at a disadvantage.
Those teams change though year to year,
Yeah, right. It's all pitching centric, right?
Yeah.
Kid that's
Well, it might
good
be different people. So a record for like a team here, Chisago Lake Sanders 0 and 10, that team's probably made up of almost, completely different kids this year, depending on how things worked out. So the record here we're looking at may not be accurate for how the team will play this year. Maybe a new pitcher came into market or something,
Yeah, all these teams are going to be 0 and 0 in your tournament, unless
Right.
they've snuck some league games in. And
No,
then maybe something before a tournament before. I don't know.
Oh, I see. So that'll reset for this year. Okay.
Oh, it'll evolve every day. Those things will change. You'll start
Yep.
seeing numbers start popping in and ratings. Let's see, youth tournaments. So yeah, Belle Plaine goes first, then it's Chisago, Edina, and Prior Lake. So I doubt anyone's going to Belle Plaine and then saying, holy shit, we got to get to Chisago. It's going to be a whole new crew, right?
It will be. Yeah.
Could you go back to the tournament and that check-in page?
Yep.
We're going to, as associations, be submitting rosters online, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so on this check-in page, what is that roster aid column? Is that
So-
significant for anything?
Yeah, they have 0 players on their roster.
Okay, so
So-
how do we know if a team has an approved USA softball roster on this page?
Well, everything's approved when they submit it, right? But if they have 0 players on their roster, you may want to hit this button and remind Kevin Cooper of Edina that he's got to get some players entered here. I'm not going to click it. Does anyone on here me? I'll click it and see what happens. Okay, so it's telling you it was sent on 3:30. Ooh, hold on. Oh,
If you
check.
can, check your email.
Hold on, check this out. This is great. Hey, hello, Dan Pfeffer. Your Maple Plain Blue 12 team does not have a complete roster for test tournament event. We use online rosters at the Minnesota softball website in case of any player protests, blah, blah, blah. Tells me where to go, tells me what to do. You know, you could also use this password to send it to your parents or whatever, and they can enter. So
Well,
you're
now
not going to get blamed for it. It's going to be me, and they're going to start emailing me and say, "Hey, jerk offs."
Well, now I know what happened when I clicked one by accident today.
So did they start entering?
I don't know. I didn't go back and look. I just saw it. I'm like, what's this do? And I'm like, oh, well.
Yeah, that's great. Let's go check and see if it did. Do you remember which team? Well, it would show. It would say which one you sent it to. So that was under
Check under teams.
check
Well, maybe this check in. Yeah. Might be the other tournament.
Okay, let's go events, search, Chisago again, Boulder event, check in.
There it is.
Sure,
Right
you
there.
sent it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, here's the good news. She's the director. So she'll be like, and look, she's got 6 players now.
Yeah. So I was just messing around going, what's this do? Okay. Now we know.
And she got the message.
Oh, that's funny.
And the cool thing about Minneapolis, I think they have the most teams they've ever had this year, like 18. They're growing like wildfire, which is really good news because I don't know if all of you were around back when that started. There wasn't many. Minneapolis didn't play fast pitch. They didn't play with us, and a guy lost his daughter to a heroin overdose and was a long time high school coach, maybe for Hudson. And he said he wanted to do something to give back to the sport. So he said he wanted to start a club or community program for Minneapolis. And he started it and he came to the league, the fall meeting with hat in hand. He said, look, none of these kids know what they're doing. We don't have a lot of money in our association. In fact, we have none. So we let them play for free. And then that was 7 years ago. Look at what it is now. So one of our cool stories, but let's talk about tournaments. Okay. Any other questions? This is recording, so I'm going to quick try to upload this before I leave for the night. If you have any questions, you can always email me. I think you all have my email address. Or you can call the office. I'm going to be gone for the next 4 days now. So probably try to wait until Monday, unless it's, if it's something quick, I can certainly take care of it. I'll bring my laptop with me on vacation. But I really appreciate y'all coming on here, and hopefully these tools are helpful. The biggest one that I see being of real importance, and the question that I hear all the time is, how do I add a team that or how do I add a team that can't enter, or they entered via paper, or how do I show it so that it's full? So I don't think it's gonna, since we released the brackets, it's not going to show there, but you can control that through here. And if you can change this to like 14 and it would open up spots. But the big thing is you can show the bracket or show the division as full when you just say 11 and update. And if we went back, if it was not scheduled and you went to public, it would say full up here. I guess we could turn everything off.
Does the system, if let's say you're allowing 12 teams and a 13th team signs up, does it go to a waiting list automatically?
Tunjai, you still online?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Probably in one of our Trello cards.
We have a list of things to do, and then we'll explain it better. We do add things pretty much so fast. Like someone asked for a club permission this morning. Around noon, it was live on the site. So hopefully it will be something we complete soon.
So Elk River just created a club. We can go look at that. It's kind of cool. While we were sitting here, got some baseball people in here too. Elk River, where are you? Hello. So they're now in here doing this, but yeah, there's all sorts of people have given us really good ideas. And some days it's like, oh, Tunjai or Kelly or Bara can quick create that tool or whatever and give you what you want. I'm always shocked when I come in here on Monday morning or even just during the day and I log out or log in or I refresh the site or I just go to some other place I haven't been. And there's all sorts of cool new features popping up all the time. So you'll see massive changes coming through too as we write down ideas and get to them and add more features. So, any other questions? Okay, I'm going to kill the video and I thank you all for being patient and jumping on here and asking some really good questions. If you have any others, email me at dan@josoftball.com, or you can call my landline here at the office, which is 763-390-8105. See, I had to look that up because I barely remember it. So I'm going to end the meeting now, and any questions, fire away. Thanks for coming here.